influenced the disbanding of the political killings task team. Mchunu was placed on special leave by President Cyril Ramaphosa after the allegations emerged. KZN Police Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi alleges that Mchunu has close relationships with alleged underworld figures. Commission Chairperson Soviet Lechanyane.
You have been invited to provide information in relation to the ad hoc committee's oversight to properly investigate the allegations made on that day of the 6th of July 2025, which include, amongst others, the alleged unlawful disbandment of the political killings task team.
At the same time, the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry says going forward it will provide a 72-hour notice before an application for in-camera hearings. The move follows opposition by some media houses on the process to follow in handling the testimony of witness X. Earlier this week, News 24 and Daily Maverick's legal representative appeared before the Commission, confirming that they would be opposing any in-camera hearings. The Commission wants the testimony to take place behind closed doors, citing safety concerns. An agreement has now been reached by the Commission's evidence leaders and an attorney representing the two media houses. Chief Evidence Leader Advocate Matthew Chalskinson says witness X's testimony concerns matters of active and ongoing police investigations.
When the police are at an advanced stage of investigations, one can't ventilate the content of those investigations publicly without running a risk of compromising those investigations. And that's the unfortunate situation that we find ourselves in at the moment.
Witness X will be continuing with their testimony in secret today and tomorrow. To this now, Cabinet has called on foreign nationals to be respectful and well-mannered guests in the country. The call follows the discovery of antiretroviral medication at the scene of a deadly bus crash. The bus, which was travelling from the Eastern Cape to Zimbabwe, was carrying Zimbabwean and Malawian nationals when it veered off the N1 highway in Limpopo, killing 42 people. Amongst the wreckage, authorities found a box containing ARV medication as well as other prescription drugs. A full-scale investigation has since been launched to determine the circumstances surrounding the apparent smuggling of essential medication. Speaking at a media briefing in Pretoria today, Minister in the Presidency Khumbudzo Ntshavheni described the matter as deeply concerning.
Cabinet calls on all foreign nationals to be well-mannered guests in South Africa and reminds everyone that it took a lot of effort to stop the recent unsavory treatment meted out against foreign nationals at local clinics. Unfortunately, the proof that confirms brazen theft of medicines from the government clinics do not assist efforts to restore conditions for foreign nationals to access public health care in South Africa.
In Cape Town, calm has been restored in Makaza in Khayelitsha following protests near Empolweni informal settlement. Disgruntled community members took to the streets last night demanding to be connected to the electricity grid. During the violence and chaos, an SAPS in Nyala was then torched. Ndutuzelo Nene is there.
Traffic police have closed Baden-Powell Drive near Makaza to give authorities time to clear the Chad Nyala that is still blocking the roadway. Several adjacent streets also remain closed. Police say members were attacked while attending to the protest just before 9 o'clock last night. The responding officers were reversing when they noticed smoke inside the vehicle and jumped out. No injuries were reported. A case of attempted murder, public violence and malicious damage to property is under investigation. Ndutuzelo Nene, Eyewitness News in Makaza.
And in Afghanistan, a story which contains some graphic details. Taliban authorities have publicly executed a man convicted of 2 murders. Hundreds of people were present at a sports stadium in the west of the country to witness the execution. He was shot 3 times by a relative of the victims. This brings the number of men publicly put to death since the Taliban returned to power in 2021 to 11. Gold is trading at $4,225.57 an ounce. The rand is at 17.33 to the dollar, 23.29 to the pound, 20.20 to the euro, and Brent crude oil is at $61.91 a barrel.
In the Alex Calvin area, we still have those roadworks slowing down traffic on the N3 in both directions between the Batu Interchange and London Road, while in the mother city there's an accident scene causing heavy delays. This is on the N2 incoming approaching Spine Road. Expect delays all the way from Baden-Powell. Also, Baden-Powell Drive remains closed off to traffic between Walter Sisulu and Jeff Masemola. Due to protests, motorists have been advised to rather use the Khayelitsha route as an alternative.
It's a fine afternoon in Gauteng today. Temperatures have peaked at highs of between 31 and 33 degrees, while Cape Town is fine with a moderate southwesterly wind at a high of 22. The top story in EWN this hour. Police Minister Senzo Mchunu has taken the hot seat at Parliament's ad hoc committee, which is probing allegations of police corruption.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app. You're with Mandy Wiener on 702.
Let's walk the talk. Streaming on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856,
92.7
and 106 FM.
The Midday Report with Mandy Wiener on 702 and Cape Talk is brought to you by Nedbank Commercial Banking. Think bigger, think Nedbank Commercial Banking. On the show today, Police Minister Senzo Mchunu on the stand at the ad hoc committee. The Madlanga Commission makes a ruling on witness X's testimony. The Cape Town Mayor responds to the President's comments on pro-poor delivery. We'll look at the evolution of dictionaries, and an unflinching portrait of the Deputy President titled The Dark Prince is our book of the week. All of that over the next hour.
The Midday Report with Mandy Wiener.
Streaming on the Prime Media Plus app, DSTV channel 856,
92.7
and 106 FM.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the Midday Report on 702 and Cape Talk with me, Mandy Wiener. Good to be with you today. Again, our focus on two different inquiries or commissions. The one in Pretoria, where we have a judgment now on witness X's testimony. So we'll find out more about that testimony taking place now. But the real focus today on the police minister, who's on special leave, Senzo Mchunu. He is giving evidence. And this is the first time we've really heard from Senzo Mchunu. He has yet to testify at the Madlanga Commission. He's before the ad hoc committee in Parliament today. He's been speaking about his appointment to the position. He's been speaking about the political task team that is at the center of this furore and his role in it. So let's first go to Babalo Ndenze, EWN parliamentary reporter, who is watching that testimony, and then we'll listen in live to what's happening there. Babalo, good afternoon to you. Take us through what we've heard from Senzo Mchunu so far today.
Yes, good afternoon, Mandy. Yes, indeed, Senzo Mchunu's first day of his testimony. It looks like it's going to be a 4-day testimony for him, 2 days next week, and then tomorrow, around briefly, as well as his experience as a government minister or as an official in government. He dating back to his days in KZN, where he was an MEC of education at some point, as well as the premier of the province. Now, the relevance of this line of questioning from Arunsa was just to gauge how, well he understood, police functions basically before he became police minister. And Mchunu telling the committee that, he understood, the structure of the police when he became the premier, as well as issues around political task teams or task teams set up within the police. And, one of the allegations that he's facing is his alleged unlawful disbandment of the political killings task team. Now, this is the latest task team from 2018. And now he's saying that, and quite emphasizing to the committee that, task teams are not permanent. He's just told the committee now that, a task team is not like a unit within the police. A task team has a time frame. It has to lapse at some point. And he says task teams have been established before and they were disbanded at some point. So he's kind of, he hasn't been asked the direct questions about his decision or his directive, but he's giving an idea of what was behind his thoughts when the directive came from his office to disband the task team. So he's currently saying that it's pretty normal what happened on the 31st of December last year, Mandy.
And Babala, how would you describe his tone, his demeanor? This is the first time we really have heard or seen Senzo Mchunu since this whole thing erupted. He is a very serious person in interviews generally, but how is he coming across?
He looks a bit relaxed, we in two vehicles. His entourage not so big like previous witnesses before, but he arrived and he's quite upbeat. He said himself that he's feeling upbeat when asked how he feels. He's quite calm in his demeanor now, answering questions from Norman Arendse. So it looks like he's been prepared for this for quite some time. And you and I will know that he's been listening over the last, 7 days of hearings, and he knows exactly what questions he's going to face. And I imagine he's quite well prepared. But he's here, he's quite relaxed. He's got a legal representative with him, but he does seem quite relaxed, Mandy, and he's currently just, going through the motions with the evidence leader, Norman Arendse. But who knows, things might change a bit when the MPs start questioning him in about a week's time, Mandy.
Babalo, thank you. Babalo Ndenze, EWN parliamentary reporter at that ad hoc committee. Well, let's listen in live now to Norman Arendse, SC, the evidence leader, as he takes Senzo Mkunu through his evidence.
Some would be bribed. Some were corrupt. Some are just scared, fear, because they come from the community. So it was established that this task team was ineffective, and then it was decided that they'll bring in officers from other parts of the country also to form this task team. I don't know if you're familiar with that as the narrative changes. So in 2018,
yes,
the composition of this task team had now changed. You aware of that?
I'm quite aware of that because, as the name says or suggests, IMC, that is interministerial. They get brought together to work together and establish a mechanism in the way they did, as per their discussions. A mechanism, and it was two-tiered. They pull in other officials from relevant departments.
Yeah, so
in the steering committee, and then thereafter
the interministerial committee, formed of different ministers, would then provide expertise, resources from various departments to form a multidisciplinary team.
Yes.
And it would also involve the working with the NPA, so it was directed by a prosecutor.
Yes, and police from outside KZN.
And this formed part of a presentation that was done to the interministerial task team. Are you aware of that? And General Nkwenazi was instrumental in making such a presentation. I think at the time, General Satoli was the National Commissioner.
Yes.
Are you aware of that?
Yes, he was. It was him at that time.
But are you aware of the presentation that was done? Were you aware of the role that General Nkwenazi played in the formation of this task team?
Yes, I'm aware. And I'm also aware of what other role players played, because it was not a one-man show. It was the interministerial task team giving a team of officials a task, which they came back to present to them. It was always a group of people.
In fact, if just for the record, Honourable Chair, Honourable Members, if I may refer you to bundle 3 of the exhibit bundle.
This one.
The exhibit bundle, yeah.
Yes.
You got it?
Yes.
Item 1.
Yes.
Item 1 of the exhibit bundle, EB1, pages 1 to 10.
So what page specifically?
And you'll see from page, you've got it, the Minister? Exhibit bundle 3.
That one.
So that's what's happening at the ad hoc committee that is looking at capture in the police. So that's Senzo Mkunu, the police minister who's on special leave. It's his chance. He will be on the stand for several days as he responds to Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi and the testimony that has been led there.
The Midday Report with Mandy Wiener on 702 and Cape Talk is brought to you by Nedbank Commercial Banking. See money differently.
Now, at the same time, the Madlanga Commission is still underway in Tshwane. A decision has been handed down regarding the testimony of witness X. Oren Singh, EWN reporter, has been following that for us. So, Oren, joining us in our Joburg studio. What was that decision?
Mandy, essentially the evidence leaders and chief evidence leaders, to be specific, Matthew Chaskelson, saying that they had reached an agreement with the attorney representing the media houses, News 24 and Daily Maverick, that they would not take witness X's testimony today and tomorrow within a public space, essentially saying that the matter will be heard in camera, away from the public eye, away from the media. So essentially for the next 2 days, we don't know exactly what witness X is testifying to, but all we know from Advocate Chaskelson is that it has to deal with sensitive information pertaining to ongoing investigations and cases, and therefore it cannot be made public.
Well, let's listen to what the attorney for News 24 and Daily Maverick, Charles du Plessis, has said about this.
Yes, I confirm that the media respondents will no longer oppose the in-camera hearing of the witness who is described in paragraph 4 of the order of 14 October. We think that that is on the basis described by Mr. Chaskelson, of course, and we think that's the best resolution under the circumstances. And we're comforted, Chair, by paragraph 19 of the application, which says that the Commission will continue to have oversight over whatever happens in camera. And then going forward, there will, of course, be the procedure described by Mr. Chaskelson. And on that basis, we're happy.
Charles du Plessis there, the attorney for News 24 and Daily Maverick, speaking about that agreement that has been reached, that sound courtesy of Newsroom Africa. So, Oren, do we have an idea of what Witness X is talking about or testifying about?
I may have an inkling, Mandy. It might well be related to this Big Five syndicate that we've heard a lot about. I know that during the testimonies of Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi, Dumisani Khumalo, and National Police Commissioner Fani Masimola, they spoke to length about the syndicate. When Mkhwanazi appeared before Parliament in the ad hoc committee, he was asked about the other key figures in this Big Five syndicate. We know that Vusi Musikat Matlala and Katiso Katie Molefe are part of it, but who the other three players are. And he suggested that due to ongoing investigations and sensitive information this time, and the fact that the other three syndicate members haven't been arrested yet, he can't divulge that. So I suspect that this witness X, who we understand could be a member of the Gauteng Counterintelligence Operations Team, would likely be speaking to who the possible other role players are in regards to this Big Five syndicate.
What next after this? Do we have more in-camera witnesses, or do we know what's coming?
So sort of. On Monday and Tuesday, we have another witness coming in. However, it's not going to be fully in camera. The witness will be providing audio, but will be testifying remotely. And so we won't know the identity of the witness, but we will be fed their audio. And so that will be for Monday and Tuesday. We don't have an idea of who that could be. It could possibly be someone from the KZN Political Killing Stars team, but we've yet to receive confirmation on who that's going to be.
Oren, thank you very much. Oren Singh, EWN reporter, with an update there from the Madlanga Commission. Real growth needs more than just banking, and Nedbank Commercial Banking is your growth partner. Their team of industry experts understand your business and its potential, offering insight to help you see opportunity where others see obstacles. Because when you can see what others don't, you can do what others can't. Think bigger. Think Nedbank Commercial Banking. See money differently. Nedbank is a licensed FSP and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
Huawei Watch GT6 Series, 2025's must-have smartwatch, introducing the king of power. Up to 21 days of unstoppable battery life in a sleek titanium and ceramic design that's as strong as it's stylish. The Trackmaster with 24/7 heart rate tracking, sleep monitoring, advanced health management, and the world's first cycling virtual power feature. Fully compatible with both iOS and Android. Get yours now from just 169 Rand a month over 36 months or 4,999 Rand at selected retailers. T's and C's apply.
Tata Punch, take me there. To the ground clearance that lets you rise up to every adventure. Where your infotainment touchscreen connects to your next move. To the store lit by bold LED tail lamps. Whatever there is, wherever there is, let the all-new Tata Punch take you there. From only 244,900. T's and C's apply. Ta-ta-ta-ta.
The Outsurance pointsmen know that every car on the road carries a story. There's a car with a parent and a nervous but excited kid practicing her lines to put on a show-stopping performance at the school play. The Outsurance pointsmen know it's not just a car in traffic, it's a future superstar on the move. Every story's different and every story matters. That's why the Outsurance pointsmen have been doing what they do since 2005 in proud partnership with 702. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
And now, it's back to Mandy Wiener on the Midday Report.
This is 702.
Let's walk the talk.
On the WhatsApp line, I'm so pleased to have Senator Mkunu's testimony. I've been keeping an open mind all this time, as I'm sure that there are always two sides to the story. That's from Phil. Phil, I've been saying this all along. I've been saying it since we first heard from Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi that there are no heroes or villains. There are always multiple sides. There are going to be opportunities for rebuttal. And then another message here. Hi, Mandy. This man was a teacher. Why not make him Minister of Education? If they love him that much, he knows nothing about policing, but he should tell police how to police. That is monkey business. That's from Sipho Molefe sending that message through. Yeah, I've never quite understood this. I mean, Pravin Gordhan was a pharmacist. If you have somebody who is a teacher, why do you not make him a Minister of Education? I suppose more complicated in the GNU environment as well. But that's always been one of the issues, is why would you make somebody with no policing experience or security experience at all the Minister of Police? Is that what landed us in this position?
702, the Midday Report, Monday to Friday.
12 to 1 p.m.
A cabinet meeting was held yesterday. A post-cabinet briefing being held today by the Minister in the Presidency, Khumbudzo Ntshavheni. Let's find out what she's had to say. Alpha Ramashwana, EWN reporter, is following that briefing for us. Alpha, good afternoon to you. Thanks very much for your time. Take us through what Minister Khumbudzo Ntshavheni has had to say.
Good afternoon, Mandy. One matter that was discussed extensively at the cabinet meeting yesterday was the fatal bus crash that happened in Limpopo earlier this week. You would remember that 42 people died on Sunday when the bus traveling from the Eastern Cape to Zimbabwe crashed on the N1 highway in Makhado in Limpopo. And what they discussed wasn't necessarily the crash itself, but some of the things and items that were found at the scene of the crash. So authorities, when they went to investigate the crash, discovered a box which was filled with pharmaceuticals, ARV medication and other over-the-counter medication was found in a box at the scene of the crash. And this raised concerns for authorities, saying that there seems to be a new syndicate which is illegally smuggling medicine into the neighboring countries. And the cabinet discussed this matter extensively, saying that this is an incident that they need to look into. They've also launched an investigation to probe this supposed or apparent smuggling of ARV medication to Zimbabwe. And Minister Khumbudzo Ntshavheni spoke about the recent protests that we've been seeing at medical facilities in which foreign nationals were being chased away. And she said foreign nationals need to be behaved in South Africa and stop the alleged smuggling of ARV medication to neighboring countries. And she says that foreign nationals need to remember that it was a big fight to stop the protests that were largely led by Operation Dudula, stopping and blocking foreign nationals from accessing these facilities. So Cabinet says one thing it's going to begin looking at is the alleged smuggling of ARV medication to Zimbabwe. Let's take a listen to what she had to say.
The theft of prescription medicine, in particular ARVs, also undermines the fight against an HIV-free region, because people who are using those medications, because they are not continuous, they are going to develop resistance, and thus creating a problem for the fight against ARV. And South Africa, as the largest, as a country facing the largest HIV pandemic, are going to be worst hit by that. So as South Africans, we need to stand strongly against those who steal our medication. Cabinet calls on all foreign nationals to be well-mannered guests in South Africa, and reminds everyone that it took a lot of effort to stop the recent unsavory treatment meted out against foreign nationals at local clinics.
Alpha, the minister has also been speaking about allegations that have been made against cabinet ministers, how the president's dealt with them. Tell us about that.
So, of course, over the past 3 months, Mandy, some would argue that public confidence in government officials and ministers has went down following Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi's media briefing. Over the past few weeks at the Madlanga Commission and at the ad hoc committee in Parliament, a number of ministers and former ministers have been implicated. Police Minister Senzo Mchunu, who's on the hot seat today, his predecessors, Begitele, Natim Teta, the late Natim Teta, also mentioned at those two structures. And Khumbudzo Ntshavheni says that the allegations have been made, but it doesn't necessarily make these ministers and former ministers guilty of the allegations. And she says it is for this reason that the commission was established. It is for this reason that the ad hoc committee is sitting to try and determine the truthfulness of the allegations that have been made by the KZN National Police Commissioner. Let's take a listen to her remarks on that.
Ministers are not immune for allegations being leveled against them. The president has acted, he has constituted a commission of inquiry to go to the veracity of the allegation. And the fact that an allegation is made, it doesn't necessarily mean that you are guilty. That's why there is an inquiry or an investigation that is underway to confirm or dispel the veracity of those things. Because you can just wake up and make an allegation against me as Khumbudzo Ntshavheni without even knowing me from a bar of soap. And therefore, government does not work on rumor mills. Government must work on facts.
Alpha Ramashwana, thank you very much for that update on the post-cabinet briefing.
7:02.
The Midday Report with Mandy Wiener.
Let's walk the talk.
In Gauteng, MECs have been holding media briefings, sharing progress reports of their respective departments and key priorities. Tabiso Goba looking at that for us and joins us in our Joburg studio. Tabiso, who was briefing today and what did they have to say?
Good afternoon, Mandy. As you know, there were 4 MECs yesterday that obviously shared the progress reports. Today we had 3 MECs. So we'll just start with the Transports MEC, Kidiboni Diale. So she spoke a lot around the permits for e-hailing drivers, but also for taxi routes. Now, you will know, obviously, Mandy, that over the past couple of weeks, there has been issues around those e-hailing drivers, but also around the taxi routes, especially in Ekurhuleni. There was an unfortunate death of a taxi owner recently, but that's still obviously under investigation by law enforcement officers. Now, also the Environment MEC, Mr. Ewan Botha, he also spoke around environmental compliance and how his department is sort of cracking down, especially on environmental compliance around landfill sites. One of the interesting things he mentioned, Mandy, is that in Gauteng we have about 15 out of 31 air quality stations that are actually functional. Now, these are obviously, they are municipal mandates, but this is obviously worrying, especially in a province as small as Gauteng and obviously densely populated as Gauteng, that we're not obviously tracking our air quality stations. So obviously a big worry for the environmental minister. But the infrastructure MEC, Mr. Jacob Mamabolo, spoke a lot around, obviously we know that there has been this mandate from the President Cyril Ramaphosa to turn the entire country into a construction site. The infrastructure budget has a lot of billions that have been allocated to it. The infrastructure MEC, Mr. Jacob Mamabolo, spoke a lot around how a lot of projects are refusing to get off the ground. That is due to some administration issues, but it's also due to some poor performing service providers. And this is what he had to say around those service providers that are not doing what they're supposed to do.
So termination of poor performers, companies that are non-compliant, companies that when they do work for the private sector, they do it to the best. When they do the same engineering work for government, they drag their feet.
They give us incompetent, unqualified people. They do shoddy work. They don't honor their contractual obligations. With this governance lab we have put in place, that's going to have to end immediately. And we're already starting to see it. So the issue and of course we'll be sharing the information with the minister, but we will also be announcing how many. I can tell you we have started terminating.
Thank you very much to Tabiso Goba for that update on those briefings by the Gauteng MECs. 12:30, time for Eyewitness News headlines.
Thanks, Mandy. Good afternoon. Police Minister Senzo Mchunu has taken Parliament's ad hoc committee probing allegations of police corruption through the process of establishing a task team. Mchunu says a task team has a start date and an end date and is not intended as a permanent solution. He has been giving evidence on day one of his testimony before Parliament's committee. Gauteng police are investigating a shooting incident in the Germiston CBD which left a crime prevention warden injured. The Gauteng government says the incident took place yesterday at the Big O scrap metal shop. 5 wardens were on foot patrol when they were informed that a robbery was taking place at the shop. And in Cape Town, calm has been restored in Makaza and Khayelitsha following protest action near Impolweni informal settlement. Disgruntled community members took to the streets last night demanding to be connected to the electricity grid. During the violence and chaos, a police Inyala was torched. Those are the headlines. This EWN and more at 1 or as it happens.
EWN Sport.
Tulakele, welcome back. Nice to see you.
Thank you, Mandy.
I have a message to read. It's from Piwe. It says, Dearest Mandy, dearest, Karabo's mouth has been really shut after he wanted to speak negatively about Bafana. The future for Bafana at the World Cup, we'll have to find out by watching.
Yeah, no, I have swallowed my words. Well done to the boys. But we are all happy. You know, you have to have those ones that give tough love. And tell them.
I think let's just recall what you said.
No, let's not.
Let's recall. I think what you said was Bafana are never going to qualify for the World Cup.
I said it was not looking good. It was looking bleak.
No,
I have to say,
we'll go back and find the audio.
I was like, really worried.
I believe what you're saying, Mandy. It does sound like something Karabo would say.
Trust me, I'm a journalist.
But we are all happy. We are all happy.
Absolutely. Good afternoon. I'm Tolagele Mganga. The Springboks will not get a chance to do a three-peat in the Rugby Championship next year. That's after SANZA announced that the tournament won't be played in 2026. It will, however, return to the global calendar for the following 3 years, including a full version ahead of the 2027 World Cup in Australia. In its place, New Zealand will tour South Africa for multiple tests, while World Rugby is also launching a new Nations Championship that's in the July and November windows. And looking ahead to next year's FIFA World Cup, American President Donald Trump has threatened to take away games from host cities on the basis of their political leadership or opposition to his policies. The World Football Governing Body has not directly commented on changing of any of the 11 venues in the US, but says a host country has the right to determine if cities are safe for the tournament.
Somebody said, would we think about taking the World Cup away from Boston if they don't straighten it out? And the answer is yes, we have the right to do that with FIFA. So if we think that LA is going to be bad, or we think that applies a little bit to the Olympics too, but we'll talk about FIFA first. FIFA is very hot. If we think there's any reason that, whether it's Boston or anywhere else, that they're not doing their job, we're going to take those World Cup games and move them someplace else.
And at the World Cup, defending champions Australia in action against Bangladesh in the 17th match of the ODI tournament. The Tigers are currently at the crease on 58 for the loss of 1 in the 15th over. Akhtar on 15 alongside Hadia on 32 are at the crease. Tola Mganga, Eyewitness News Sport.
EWN Traffic.
Well, at this stage, if you're traveling through Alex Calvin area, we still have those roadworks slowing down traffic. N3 in both directions between the Butlu interchange and London Road. There's also slow-moving traffic heading towards the Joburg CBD. That's the M1 northbound between Boysons Road and the Crown interchange. While in the Mother City, we're still dealing with that accident scene. N2 incoming. This is in the right lane just after Spine Road, causing heavy delays all the way from Baden-Powell Drive. Also, Baden-Powell Drive in the Khayelitsha area is closed off to traffic. This is due to protests between Walter Sisulu and Jeff Masemola. Motorists have been advised to avoid that route. There's also roadworks causing some delays. This is on the N1 outgoing in the right lane. This is approaching the R300. If you come across any other traffic issues, please WhatsApp us on 072 702 1702.
Wait, before you go, Palesa is a ninja.
Yeah.
So she has a piece of audio to play for us.
Oh, goodness.
Let's listen.
We're not going
You
there.
have thoughts on Bafana,
No.
and you're trying to hide them from the people.
I'll rather keep my comments to myself because it's going to be controversial from Anthony's bulletin. But yeah, you know what? It is what it is. We're going to see the game today. All the best to the players.
That's not what we do on the show.
Yeah,
We want to hear your feelings.
You know where I'm good at traffic.
Okay.
Nowhere in that whole.
No,
comment.
there's another clip. We'll find it.
Are
We'll
you
find
kidding
it.
me?
I remember you saying it. The listeners remember. You can come back tomorrow for our sports bulletin. Bye.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
You can become a victim of a legal problem, wrongful arrest, assault, uncontested divorce, rental disputes, maintenance matters, or labor problems. It can happen to you. Clientele Legal provides tough professional lawyers for an affordable monthly premium. Our legal team is standing by to assist you 24 hours a day. Join today. SMS Legal to 48721. That's legal to 48721. Clientele General is an authorized FSP and licensed non-life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
LLB graduates can fast-track their legal career with the Law Society of South Africa's PVT School for Legal Practice. LPC accredited, this 4-month practice-ready course, which is taught by practicing lawyers, can reduce your PVT contract by 12 months for admission. Study by day, after hours, or via distance at campuses nationwide. The first 2026 intake runs from January to April. Applications close 31 October 2025. Apply now at lssalead.org.za. That's lssalead.org.za.
Before a masterpiece takes shape, there's a single line that starts it all, until every curve and every angle reflects the clarity of a single vision. And only then does inspiration take its final form. The all-new Audi A5, designed to inspire. Starting from $14,499 per month with a guaranteed future value. Visit audi.co.za or your nearest dealer for more. T's and C's apply.
Small businesses are anything but small. They're the backbone of our communities, the dreamers, the doers, the ones who keep Mzansi moving forward. That's why 702 and Capitec Business Banking are putting them in the spotlight. Every Thursday between 6 and 8 p.m., catch Small Business Focus with Capitec, where we showcase the hustle, heart, and the secrets to thriving in today's economy. Your vision matters, and with Capitec, you're never building it alone. Small Business Focus with Capitec, the business bank for everyone. Thursdays between 6 and 8 p.m. on 702. Capitec Bank is an authorized FSP 46669.
WhatsApp Mandy
on 072 702 1702.
Good afternoon, Mandy and your team. Mandy, about the drugs that are being smuggled out of South Africa, as now evidence was found at the crash scene in Limpopo. Mandy, this thing, it is multinational. In South Africa, there are drugs from Zambia in South Africa. And I became surprised the day I discovered that there were drugs from Zambia inside South Africa. The main culprits here, it is these chemists that are mushrooming in the townships. That's where these smugglings happen.
Afternoon, Mandy. So it had to take a tragic bus accident like this one for the government to start condemning the behavior of illegal foreigners that are coming into the country and destroying the country from within. It had to take this situation. So all along, they've been ignoring what Dudula is being saying. And where are those today that are saying Dudula are wrong and all those? Here is the proof. Illegal foreigners are destroying the country from within.
I do think that this is more about our porous borders. It just so happened that this particular tragic bus crash revealed this, but it's not like it's an anomaly, like it's unique. I imagine that many other shipments of this medication or the drugs are happening every single day through our borders. So I don't understand why the cabinet and Minister Ntshavheni is making such a big deal out of this one, because surely they should know, and that's exactly why we need to tighten control at the borders.
The Midday Report with Mandy Wiener on 702 and Cape Talk is brought to you by Nedbank Commercial Banking. See money differently.
On Tuesday this week, President Cyril Ramaphosa appeared in the National Council of Provinces answering questions, and he spoke about how the city of Cape Town can't claim to be the best run metro when the standard of services in its townships remains poor. He pointed to census data that shows that Cape Town performed the worst between 2011 and 2022 in providing services to the city's disadvantaged communities. The Mayor of Cape Town, Jordan Hill-Lewis, responding to that, joining us now. Mr. Mayor, good afternoon to you. Thank you very much for your time. If you look at the census data that the President has raised, it's not inaccurate, but is it the correct reflection of what the city is doing?
Well, look, let's just first of all be clear about what President Ramaphosa is doing. President Ramaphosa is doing furious damage control after he dared to speak the truth a couple of weeks ago in saying that Cape Town is a place that should be emulated by ANC councillors in their work. He got such a huge clapback from inside his own party that since then he's been in permanent damage control mode. So he's got to attack us now at every opportunity and show how supposedly balanced he is. But his attacks are ineffective because they're wrong. The census data shows, Stats SA's mid-year population survey from this year shows, Ratings Africa shows, the Auditor General shows that Cape Town is head and shoulders on basic service delivery. Now, he phrased it quite carefully. I don't know if you picked this up. He said Cape Town didn't expand services as much as other metros expanded their services. Now, there's a very good reason for that, because ours is already nearly 99% on most of the basic service delivery indicators. So it's very hard to expand services from 99. So compared to other metros in the expansion of services, and so it was very clearly written for him to use that word, expansion of services. If you look at all of the basic measures on water and sanitation, on piped water, on electrification in areas where the city electrifies, in trash collection, the city of Cape Town is top of the pops for all metros in South Africa. So it was a rather shaky and weak attack.
Many would argue, and this has been a recurring point that is being made about the city of Cape Town, that it is the story of two cities, that the urban areas, the affluent areas are experiencing one kind of service, whereas the impoverished areas are receiving a different kind of service. What is your response to that?
The story of two cities is the story of Cape Town and Johannesburg. Those are the two cities that we need to compare. One is failing, collapsing, and is riven with corruption. The other, despite the massive challenges we face in South Africa, is steadily moving in the right direction. The president knows that. That's why he said it 3 weeks ago at the ANC's conference of councillors, when he said that Cape Town is worth emulating. He's been in damage control mode since then, but that doesn't change the simple, irrefutable fact that there is only one city in South Africa that is moving forward, that is steadily improving things. Of course, there are still challenges. There will be for a long time. But despite those, we are moving forward in the right direction, while every other city in South Africa moves only backwards.
Mr. Mayor, thank you very much. Jordan Hill-Lewis, the Mayor of Cape Town, responding there to the comments made by President Ramaphosa in the National Council of Provinces.
Think about 6 years ago, when Amapiano was just a musical instrument, when streaming meant watching water flow, not videos online, and remote work was only said when your remote batteries died. So it makes you wonder, what will the next 6 years bring?
New Hino trucks now come standard with a 6-year drivetrain warranty, covering everything from pistons to gears. So although a lot can change in 6 years, our warranty promise won't. T's and C's apply. Hino, all the way.
Unlock exciting bonus prizes when you top up your Betway account with a Betway Bucks voucher. From millions in cash and bonuses to extra bets and so much more, every top up is a chance to score big. Head over to leading retailers, including Pick and Pay, Checkers, Pep Stores, and Incredible Connection, and top up with Betway today. Terms and conditions apply. Betway is licensed and regulated by the Western Cape Gambling and Racing Board. No persons under the age of 18 are permitted to gamble. South African Responsible Gambling Program toll-free counseling line 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710. Winners know when to stop.
The Outsurance pointsmen know that every car on the road carries a story. Like a man wearing his finest suit on his way to an interview. He's prepped 100 times, but he still has butterflies. The Outsurance pointsmen know it's not just a car in traffic. It's a potential lucky break that could change someone's life. Every story's different and every story matters. That's why the Outsurance pointsmen have been doing what they do since 2005 in proud partnership with 702. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
And now it's back to Mandy Wiener on the Midday Report.
This is 702.
Let's walk the talk.
So today on the 16th of October, it's World Dictionary Day, and we thought we'd have a conversation about how dictionaries are evolving in the digital age, how they can still help South African children learn confidently amidst AI, slang, 11 official written languages. Do you still look at a dictionary? Is it still relevant to you? Well, we're joined by Daryl Wilcombe, who's the dictionary publisher at Oxford University Press in South Africa. Daryl, good afternoon to you. Thank you so much for your time. Are dictionaries still relevant?
Oh, thank you for having me on your show. Good afternoon. Yes, dictionaries indeed still have a role to play in our lives today. You know, we have an education crisis in South Africa. Sometimes some would say that needs all the support it can get, and dictionaries that lend themselves to helping reach an understanding of how words are used and how words are used in different contexts are certainly there to support learners in their journey, whether you are talking about a traditional print dictionary or an online version.
We often speak on the show about new words that are being made who make it into the dictionary, which make it into the dictionary. I mean, I should get my grammar right with you. In a world of AI, things like brain rot as an example, the dictionary has to keep evolving.
Yes, and it is an exciting time for dictionaries, actually. I mean, it also challenges us to ask, what exactly do we mean? What is a dictionary? It's a time to, show the content of a dictionary in a different way, and in a way that then is more supportive of, to come back to the fact of learning materials. We are primarily a publisher of textbooks, so it is certainly our mission to really support education in South Africa. So we produce textbooks, so now we can integrate the content of textbooks with dictionary much better in an online environment, or let me say a digital environment, while in print books, the beauty of a print dictionary still is that learners can really follow the word and from that see other words on the page that jump out at them, and it broadens their vocabulary and builds their confidence to use language in everyday life.
We also have a multilingual reality in South Africa. We have our own slang, our own lexicon here. How do dictionaries support home language learning, code switching, English as an additional language, as an example?
So we come out with new dictionaries. We track language use on social media, for example, those words that then come into prominence, and we see, there's a track record of words being used, and those words will end up in your dictionary. So, because language is what we as people, we own it. It's not this person who wrote the dictionary or lexicographers who own the language. It's how we speak it, and we also invite the public to tell us, look, why is this word not in your dictionary? And we can investigate. Let's put a word in the dictionary. I hope that answers your question.
Very much so.
A bit sidetracked.
Well, Daryl, thank you so much for chatting to us today. Daryl Wickham is the dictionary publisher at Oxford University Press, South Africa, speaking to us today on World Dictionary Day about how dictionaries are still relevant even in the digital age. Real growth needs more than just banking, and Nedbank Commercial Banking is your growth partner. Their team of industry experts understand your business and its potential, offering insight to help you see opportunity where others see obstacles. Because when you can see what others don't, you can do what others can't. Think bigger. Think Nedbank Commercial Banking. See money differently. Nedbank is a licensed FSP and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
There's something magical about booking your next getaway. Whether you're flying for business or leisure, Airlink is ready to take you there in premium comfort. With over 45 destinations in 15 African countries, Airlink connects you throughout Southern Africa and beyond. No middle seats, just wider window or aisle seating. And yes, free luggage, snacks and beverages are still our thing. Plus, our Skybucks frequent flyer program rewards you every time you fly. Book on flyairlink.com or your travel agent. Fly Airlink, the freedom of the African sky.
Year in, year out, we're fixing tires faster than a Formula One pit crew. My team is on top of things like tire whisperers. If an unforeseen accident were to happen in my workshop, at least I've got My Way business insurance to keep the wheels turning.
Visit myway.co.za or dial 0860 64 64 64 and get a quote today. My Way is a licensed non-life insurer and FSP. T's, C's and standard rates apply. My Way. Live your way.
702 and Cape Talk.
Book of the Week.
It's a Thursday, and on Thursdays in the Midday Report, we speak to the author of a local non-fiction book. This book is called The Dark Prince. It's an unflinching portrait of Paul Mashatile's controversial rise through the ANC ranks to the doorstep of the presidency. It covers his association with the Alex Mafia. It looks at his lavish lifestyle and what is funding that lifestyle. It also looks at his personal and his professional life. Peter du Toit, author and investigative journalist at News 24, is the author and joins us now. Peter, good afternoon to you. Thank you very much for your time.
Good afternoon, Mandy. Thanks for having me.
Let's start with the title, Peter. You've called this book The Dark Prince. Why?
Mandy, it's purely because Paul Mashatile is the deputy president of the party. He's the deputy president of the country. He wants to be president. He's the prince in waiting. And many of these dealings happen in the dark, man. It happens in an opaque area, the nexus and the space where South Africans probably and obviously and often don't have access to. His lifestyle is supported by various businessmen. It's supported by networks of influence. And that's where the dark part comes in. And I think the argument I tried to make in the book is that a Mashatile presidency, carries hues of darkness. It carries hues of, and it reminds us of the Zuma years, certainly.
You asked the question in the book, should Paul Mashatile be South Africa's next president? And I think that's an important question. And reading this book, I felt it an important book because we've learnt our lessons from the Zuma era. We didn't have sufficient foresight. You're telling us now that we need to be aware of what's coming and we shouldn't go through the same thing again. Why did you think it was an important book to write?
Mandy, so yes, we've come through the state capture years. We know the fascinating thing about the state capture years, it's given us the blueprint. It's shown us how these networks operate, and it's given us the insight to identify how networks of influence and often corruption works. So when you look at the Mashatile network, when you look at his political career, there are definite similarities between Mashatile's life, his political career, and how he leads his personal life and his lifestyle. The networks around him benefit from him, from his positions, from his proximity to political power, and certainly his family, his immediate family, have benefited from his position as a senior ANC and government politician. And those similarities with the Zuma networks, the Zuma years, the private interests are striking, and I do believe that we have the right to ask these questions, Mandy, and we have the right to try and understand what networks will go with Paul Mashatile to the union buildings if he becomes president. Of course, that's still in the future.
We often have short memories in South Africa because of the news cycle and how full it is. And what you do in this book that I appreciated was that you remind us. You take us back and you remind us about his association with the Alex Mafia, about his role as an MEC in Gauteng. And you bring that all back to the fore again so that we do remember what happened.
Thanks, man. Yeah, look, I think the context of contextually, we need to look at politicians within the context of their time, but also within the context of where they come from. Now, I found it fascinating that Paul Mashatile really is considered to be one of the foremost young activists of his time in the mid-1980s. He was detained without trial for 4 years, released in 1989. Which, to my mind, the fact that he sacrificed so much, the fact that he really put his life, his family, body and limb on the line to fight apartheid, and given what he has become now, makes it all, as I write in the book, the betrayal all the more stark, I think, because I do think he's a patronage politician. I do think he is someone that leads a lifestyle that is completely incongruent with what he is supposed to be living as a politician. And I think that incongruency is something that we've become accustomed to in South African politics. But I think the context of the person, his role as an MEC, his performance as an elected politician, man, what has he achieved as a politician? Not much, I argue in the book.
You at News 24 have done quite a bit of reporting on Paul Mashatile's lavish lifestyle of late, his luxury homes in Joburg and Cape Town. This is weaved into the book as well. Why did you feel that this is relevant? You speak about him being a patronage politician.
Maybe it's relevant because if someone ascends to the highest office in the land, he needs to champion the interests of the country, the interests of the public and the national interest. If you are beholden to businessmen or networks outside of your primary position or primary function as an elected official or as head of state, then that becomes a problem. You referred to the Zuma years earlier. We know what happened when Zuma became beholden to first the Shabir Sheikh and the interests of the Sheikh family, then later the Gupta family. We know from News 24's reporting that he lives in expansive homes that he hasn't paid for, that are paid for by family. His lifestyle is being supported by business networks of friends. And that becomes problematic because it means that there are interests or individuals who have a hold over a politician which aren't in the interests of the country or the national interest as a whole. And that's why it's in the public interest to ask these questions and to report on this.
Peter, you made a conscious decision not to interview Paul Mashatile for this book. Why did you do so, and have you received a response at all?
Mandy, this is a book which is a polemic. It is a polemic which advances a specific argument, and it's an argument based on research. It's an argument based on journalistic investigation, and it's an argument that I believe did not necessarily need an interview with Deputy President Paul Mashatile. There's enough in the public domain about Paul Mashatile which News 24 has exposed and which we've reported on over the course of 20 and 30 years. So it is specifically a polemic to advance a specific argument around someone who wants to ascend to the highest office. We have asked, News 24 at least, have previously repeatedly asked Paul Mashatile for an interview. It has never been, he's never agreed to do an interview. So the purpose of this book is an analysis of Paul Mashatile's record as a politician and a throw forward to see what a South Africa under Mashatile might look like.
Peter du Toit, thank you so much. An important book, as I've said. It reminds us of Paul Mashatile, who he is, what his political principles are, what kind of a leader he would be, and the description there as a patronage politician. So the book is called The Dark Prince. It's an unflinching portrait of Paul Mashatile's controversial rise through the ANC ranks to the doorstep of the presidency, and it asks important questions. Should Paul Mashatile be South Africa's next president? He leads a lavish lifestyle. How were they acquired? He's been associated with the Alex Mafia. What influence do they have over him? All of these important questions as we head into an ANC elective conference in the next couple of years.
The Midday Report.
Well, thank you very much. I'll be launching my book tonight at Exclusive Books at Hyde Park. If you want to come along at 6:30, I'll be in conversation with Zianda Ngobo, who's going to be asking me questions about the deal. You're all invited. Come along to Exclusive Books tonight to help launch my book, The Deal, about the GNU negotiations. Thanks for listening. The Midday Report with Mandy Wiener on 702 and Cape Talk is brought to you by Nedbank Commercial Banking. Think bigger. Think Nedbank Commercial Banking. It's 1 o'clock.
This is EWN.
Nkunu explains the difference between a task team and a special unit, and Gauteng crime prevention warden injured in a shooting. Good afternoon, I'm Bali Dlamini. Police Minister Senzo Mchunu has taken Parliament's ad hoc committee probing allegations of police corruption through the process of establishing a task team. Mchunu says a